Hi guys, welcome back to my channel once again here on YouTube. It's that time of the year again. Survivor Series season has caught up with us, and what better way to celebrate it with Tag Classics review for Survivor Series 97, Gang Rules, and Survivor Series Deadly Game from 1998. So this is a Silver Vision release, 18 certificate here in the UK, 2-disc set. There's the cover artwork for both of them. Same as their VHS counterparts from back in the day. There's the spine. And each of the discs. Okay, so I've got 2 pay-per-views to go over with you guys. With some stats before each. So without further ado, let's start with obviously Survivor Series 1997. So this was from November 9th from the Montreal, Quebec, from Montreal, Quebec, Canada, from the Molson Centre. Sorry, guys. 20,593 in attendance that evening. I don't have a buy rate for that one, unfortunately, guys. So we kicked things off with the Headbangers teaming up with the New Blackjacks, which was Barry Windham and Justin Bradshaw, or Justin Hawk Bradshaw. Some of you guys know as JBL. Yeah, and they took on the New Age Outlaws and the Godwins. So the New Age Outlaws, this was their earlier partnership together. So it's quite good to see them like this, you know, to see how they began together as a team. And they worked pretty well. And the Godwins, obviously, they were a strange tag team. But a couple of pig farmers, like, you know, very, very bizarre stuff. The Headbangers I thought were pretty cool. They used to get a lot of stick for wearing skirts and stuff. I didn't really understand why people would give them shit about it. You know, they were, you know, like rockers pretty much, you know, into their heavy metal and shit. Hence the name Headbangers. And yeah, the good elimination style Survivor Series match, pairing up with the New Blackjacks. I did mind the New Blackjacks. Bradshaw looked pretty fucking strong back here, you know, and yeah, it's him pairing with Barry Windham. It was a good tag team, I thought. Yeah, the New Age Outlaws and the Godwins picking up the victory. Unfortunately, I wanted the Headbangers and New Blackjacks to win. It wasn't a bad match. It was okay. And we had the Disciples of Apocalypse, or DOA, next up against Truth Commission. Truth Commission had members who I didn't really know their names from here until I watched this one back, like names like Recon and stuff. But yeah, it was wrestlers like Bull Buchanan and Kurgan, and their manager was the Jackal, or I think he was also a part-time wrestler with them as well, from what I remember. And he'd go on to be known as, obviously, Cyrus the Virus, and we know him today as Don Callis. So it's quite an interesting stable, I guess, faction, whatever you want to call them. They didn't last too long, but for what it was, they looked okay. But the match itself was really boring and repetitive, guys. Honestly, they were just using pretty much the same moves over and over again, and this one did drag a bit for me, if I'm honest. Yeah, I wasn't too bothered by that one, to be honest. I did like Crush from the DOA. 8 Ball and Skull were okay. They go on to be the Harris Brothers. And who was the other one? Chains, Brian Lee. Yeah, interesting stuff. Next up, we had Team USA, Vader, Mark Miro, Goldust, and Steve Blackman. Steve Blackman in his debut for the WWF. He looked very impressive with all of his spin kicks and hard-hitting kicks. It was really cool. It was something different. It brought something fresh to the World Wrestling Federation at this time, during this time period. And yeah, I really enjoyed that. They took on Team Canada, British Bulldog, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, Doug Furnace, and Phil LaFon. Yeah, it was a good match. I didn't mind this one at all. Unfortunately, well, a very unfortunate end for Team USA, though, Vader had to take a knockout from British Bulldog using the ring bell. But it was an entertaining match, more entertaining than the previous two matches, so I was okay with that. And then we had the Road Warriors, Ahmed Johnson, Ken Shamrock, and the Legion of Doom. Oh, sorry, the Road Warriors known, that's the name of their team, sorry. That confused me for a second then. Yes, so the Team Road Warriors of Hawk and Animal of the Legion of Doom, Ken Shamrock and Ahmed Johnson, as they took on the Nation of Domination's Farouk, Rocky Maivia, Kama Mustafa and D'Lo Brown. This was also a very cool match. We had Ahmed Johnson feuding with the Nation of Domination at this point. I think he was a member of their faction, and then things didn't work out, and then they ended up in a rivalry together, from what I can remember. And the Legion of Doom looked pretty cool back in 1997. It's still going well, even though, you know, they were from the 80s and 90s, like early 90s. But they still look very strong as a tag team together. And I didn't mind this match at all. It was very cool. Kane versus Mankind was probably my favourite match of this night of Survivor Series 97. And it was very, very hard hitting. Both of them delivered some nasty looking moves to one another. I think Mankind probably took more of a beating than what Kane did, though. Some of the impressive spots he'd done looked absolutely painful. But you know what Mankind was like back then. He'd put his body through anything. He didn't give a shit. And fair play to him. Hell of a match, though. I did enjoy that, guys. Excuse me. Next up, we had Intercontinental Championship match. Owen Hart against Stone Cold Steve Austin. And if you remember back to SummerSlam, sorry. SummerSlam 1997, where we had that unfortunate injury where Owen Hart pile drives Stone Cold Steve Austin and breaks his neck. And this sidelined Steve Austin for a few months, and thankfully he recovered well, to a certain extent anyway. And he wanted his Intercontinental Championship match against Owen Hart. And Owen Hart was obviously mocking him at the time leading up to Survivor Series with these Owen 316 says I just broke your neck t-shirts, which were pretty cool. Very interesting t-shirts for back then. And yeah, the match itself was okay. And Austin managed to get the Intercontinental Championship, which was pretty cool. Then it brings us to the main event, which always creates a lot of controversy, this one, talking about this. So, Bret the Hitman Hart defending his WWF Championship back then, against European champion Shawn Michaels. And until watching this back, I'd absolutely forgotten that Shawn Michaels was still European champion going into this. So that was quite interesting as well. The match itself, it was good. They brawled pretty much everywhere throughout the crowd, through at the entrance ramp, you know, all the way down. And some interesting moves put on each other, which I didn't mind. Pretty cool main event, but it's the finish, isn't it, what we want to talk about. So this one doesn't have, it pretty much cuts off when, right, let's try it again. So you get the sharpshooter applied from Shawn Michaels, and then we get Earl Hebner instructed to throw the match basically and ring the bell in favour of Michaels winning, even though Bret didn't tap out. Michaels then gets out the ring. Bret spits in McMahon's face, and then Shawn's escorted by Triple H, Sergeant Slaughter, I can't remember who else. It might have been Briscoe and Patterson, to the backstage area, and then the camera just goes to fade. So we don't get to see on this Tag Classics Bret Hart destroying the commentator or announce team's desk, and you know, all the monitors and everything, and then signing WCW in the air or anything like that, which is unfortunate because I would have loved to have seen that kept in here. And yeah, unfortunately, you would have thought Vince would have kept it in because controversy creates cash, as they say. But no, this wasn't the case. They didn't keep that in there. But yeah, that's pretty much what happens on this version of the of that night. So we do miss out the as I said, the signing, the WCW sign by Bret Hart, and also the, like I said, him trashing the announce team's desk and just going absolutely crazy. And you can't blame the guy. He got screwed. Even though Vince says Bret screwed Bret, I still think that's a load of bullshit. Bret just didn't want to lose in front of, you know, the fans of Montreal, and they made that quite clear as well. After the bell had gone, the amount of booing, you know what I mean, the fans were absolutely pissed with this. I personally think it should have either been a match a week before or something, or maybe the month before. Bret should have dropped it then, and not in this fashion. Do you know what I mean? Or maybe like have a different kind of a finish, and then vacate the championship, and then Bret would have gone his way to WCW, and Michaels could have won it in a tournament or something, you know. But it's very strange how it all played out. It's still talked about today, even after 26 years. It's quite an interesting subject. Everybody's got their own opinion on it. I don't really have anything else I could say about it, to be honest. It's I found it weird that it was documented in the Wrestling with Shadows, the Hitman Hart documentary, because it's very coincidental how it happened around the time they decided to have the film crew following him around for the for his video, his documentary and everything, and then that happens, and then obviously he goes to WCW. Pure coincidence, or is it all, or are all of us being played? Are us fans all just being played? It's hard to say, isn't it? But like I said, we all each have our own opinion on it. I really don't know what else to say about it, but apart from me thinking that Bret should have either dropped it, like I said, a month prior to it at one of the In Your Houses. Was it In Your House back then? Pay-per-view would have been something like that. If not, then have a finish where they both get counted out, or they both pin each other at the same time, and then it vacates the championship. I don't know. Just it should have been a better way around it rather than the way it was. But it happened. There's nothing we could do about it now. We're all still talking about it to this day, and yeah, that's basically Survivor Series 1997 reviewed, in my opinion, guys. I have nothing else to say about it, to be honest, apart from giving it a score. So overall score, I give it an 8 out of 10. I think some of the matches on the undercard should have been a lot better than what they were. I wasn't impressed with the DOA versus Truth Commission match, and same goes with probably the finish of the Bret Hart Shawn Michaels match. As I said, I wasn't too impressed with that. But let's move over to Survivor Series 1998 anyway, guys. So this was from November 15th from St. Louis, Missouri, from the Kyle Center. 21,179 in attendance, a whopping 400,780 buy rate. Now this, which was the Deadly Game tournament, was very cool because I love tournaments, as you know, guys. I'm always on about them in videos from the past. So you know how much this would mean to me revisiting this, even though I knew the outcome. I'm going to obviously spoil... It doesn't spoil the tournament outcome on here, but I'm going to spoil it, the ending, so I can, talk about it a bit more. So just to give you a little warning about that. So we had this tournament throughout the pay-per-view, obviously, and we got rid of the traditional elimination-style tag matches for the first time ever when they began in 1987. So 1997 would have been the last time to have those, and they got completely removed from 1998. But we had this tournament instead, as I said. So we had First round matches: The Rock versus Triple H, Shamrock versus Goldust, X-Pac versus Steven Regal, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus the Big Boss Man, Al Snow versus Jeff Jarrett, and Mankind versus Dwayne Gill, aka Gilbert. And if you're wondering why they just showed one quarterfinal match there between The Undertaker and Kane and none of the other quarterfinals, getting spoilers, that's because The Undertaker and Kane had a bye through the first round by Vince McMahon because he wanted to make sure they both destroyed each other. So they get weaker in the tournament. One of them would get eliminated, obviously, from the tournament, and then the other one would be badly beaten up and wouldn't fare well in the tournament, basically. So that's kind of the answer to that. And yeah, it's good that they don't give away too many spoilers here. I'm not going to go through each of the matches, but just in case you do want to see who advances and how far a certain wrestler gets through the tournament, etc., if you want to rewatch this back or watch it for the first time. But unfortunately, I'm going to talk about the two finalists. So yeah, we had it came down to Mankind and The Rock, and Mankind was pretty much looking favourites to win this, as McMahon was trying to make it look like he'd do anything he can to help Mankind get to that final and grab that WWF championship. And obviously The Rock had worked all the way through and done very well. And we got to the main event itself between both The Rock and Mankind for the WWF Championship in the tournament final. And the match itself was good. But for some stupid reason, they decided to copy the screw job from the year before and have Earl Hebner ring the bell and rob Mankind of the WWF Championship while The Rock had Mankind in the sharpshooter. So basically a reenactment of the Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels match, whether that was just to have a dig at poor Bret Hart, or whether Vince just thought it'd be funny to, fuck fans over again. I just thought it was a stupid idea, a stupid finish, to be honest, and that was the biggest letdown of this pay-per-view, because apart from that, it was a fun tournament, it was a fun show, fun pay-per-view. But yeah, that outcome was just... I'm not saying The Rock didn't deserve it, because he did well throughout the tournament. It's just obviously it was him aligning himself with McMahon, but we were oblivious to all of this throughout the pay-per-view. Well, unless you're really smart and you knew it was going to happen. But yeah, pretty much, I just didn't like it. I didn't like the outcome of that. That's just my opinion, guys. Sorry. We also had the Women's Championship match between Jacqueline and Sable. The Women's Championship was, well, pretty much non-existent for a few years because Alundra Blaze, or Medusa, she was called in WCW, had taken the championship, women's championship, with her when she left in the mid-90s, and infamously or famously threw it in the trash on an episode of WCW Nitro. It's kind of degrading. I don't agree doing that to any championship belt, but I've seen it happen to many championship belts now over the years, and it is a shame. It doesn't matter, the prestige, the value of a championship belt. You don't throw it in the trash. It's, you know what I mean? It's an achievement. It's an accomplishment. You should honour it, not bury it, But that's just, again, another opinion of mine. Triple threat match for the World Tag Team Championship we also had on this pay-per-view, guys. So the New Age Outlaws versus the Headbangers versus D'Lo Brown and Mark Henry. That was an okay tag match. I didn't mind that one too much either. But the main focus obviously was the tournament itself, the Deadly Game tournament. And yeah, that's it. That's pretty much Survivor Series 1998, Deadly Game. I'll give that 8 out of 10. Well, an 8.5 out of 10, to be honest. I find that a bit more better than the 1997 pay-per-view. But it was fun to relive these again, guys. And They were not as I remember them, but obviously some things age well, some things don't. We could do like a high definition version of each of these, like a 4K version maybe. That would be good in the future if they ever wanted to release 4K tagged classics. I'd love that because the picture on the picture quality and the sound wasn't very good. Pretty much felt like those VHS days. So I had to pretty much turn my TV up to almost high volume just to hear the sound. It was like really low, and then turn it up really loud. And then when I switched my TV back onto Sky TV after watching this, and then all of a sudden I get a shock of like the TV being loud again. Oh, I forgot that I had to crank it up to hear it, kind of thing, if you know what I mean, guys. But yeah, the picture as well is a bit. But as a tagged classic set, so I've given each pay-per-view a score, but as an overall tagged classic sets, I give this a 9 out of 10 because 2 pay-per-views together, value for money. Both of them weren't bad at all. The pay-per-views, they had their moments. But overall score for this tagged classic sets is a 9 out of 10. Hope you've enjoyed this review, guys. Hope you're all well. Give me a thumbs up if I deserve one today. Feel free to talk about anything in the comments. I'll try my best to answer. Subscribe as well if you haven't done so already. I appreciate that. You all stay safe, and I'll catch you again for another video, and enjoy Survivor Series War Games this coming weekend. Goodbye for now, guys.